Good morning, people. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I feel halfway human today. Let's do this. Good morning, folks. I tell you, I'm feeling a lot better. Never question how much I love being here with you folks, because I'm telling you, Friday show, it was bad. I literally shut the lights off here after the show. I walked across the house, went from my office to my bedroom, hit the bed, and I was out till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, it was just, I was feeling horrible. My fever, the highest reading I had was 103.2. It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. There's a flu going around. And I had to delete somebody's comment. Just if you're a longtime follower or somebody that follows and you put something on my social media and I remove it, don't take it personally. I had to remove somebody's comment. They meant well. They really meant well. They said, oh, well, it couldn't have been the flu. It had to be COVID. Well, no, I tested. I didn't have COVID. I tested and tested and tested. It was not COVID. I had the flu. And it turns out, from mentioning it online, this is one of the reasons I do this. I don't do this for sympathy. I do it to get information. Turns out a lot of people have been getting the flu. There's a flu going around. And this guy says, well, no, it's summer. There's no such thing as a summer flu. Had to be COVID. That's misinformation. And don't allow stuff like that out there. I don't do it. That's not true. COVID, any viral disease are less likely to happen in the summertime. They are, because the warmer temperatures outside makes viruses not live as long on surfaces, yada, yada, yada. Well, think about our society today. We're a very indoor society. Climate control, air conditioning, we like that kind of stuff. So yeah, whereas, 10, 15, 20 years ago, summertime, we had an abatement from things like COVID and flu and, things like that in the summertime. We still get it now. We do, because, I travel, I meet with people, we talk to people, you go to restaurants. I mean, think about it. Restaurant workers are the least likely to be able to take time off when they're sick, right? So they're going to work sick. Things happen, folks. So, but yeah, I had the flu and it's going around. And the reason I want to tell you this is, if you start to feel like you're getting body aches, if you start to, of course, COVID test, but if you feel like you're coming down with the flu, don't mess around with it. Don't. My fever got super high. Just shaking uncontrollably. It was miserable. And so many people contacted me and said, look, I just got over that. Or, oh my God, just feel this myself. It's going around, folks. It is really going around. Don't mess around with it. If you start to feel like you're coming down with something, take it seriously. I know it's summertime, but please, pretty please, for me, take care of yourself. Well, the main story today is on my guy, Doug Emhoff. This is where we're going to start. And I got to tell you, I got to spend an hour with Doug Emhoff. I don't know how much you realize the spouses' schedules are handled, planned, dictated out. They are. I mean, down to the minute. And I got to spend an hour with this guy. He is exactly like this. There were about 30 of us, I think, there. And we had a reception after. He didn't have to come by. He didn't. He didn't have to come by. He really didn't. Forgive me. I'm not quite over it yet. Oh, sorry. Don't mean to be gross. But yeah, he didn't have to come by. He really didn't. We were already on the team. We were already gonna fight. We were already pro-democracy. We were already there. I mean, but he did. He did. And he's exactly like that. I mean, he lights up the room. He's genuinely friendly. He just talks to you about anything and everything. I mean, really, he is a super, super nice guy. But he himself will tell you he wasn't always like that. When he was younger, he was very driven, very focused on his career. And his first marriage suffered for him. And when I say he was successful, I mean, he was successful. He was an entertainment attorney. He was an attorney in the entertainment industry. And he was really good at it. I mean, he worked for several really prestigious firms. I mean, and then finally got to DLA Piper, which is Piper is one of those mega worldwide massive law firms that is just it's like they're in like 40 countries. They are everywhere. They are everywhere. I mean, he was very, very successful at what he did. But he'll tell you, in his first marriage, he was not the best husband because of it. And he and his wife, Kirsten, had trouble, stress, fights, and he ended up having an affair. He had an affair with one of his daughter's teachers. And you would think, if you've ever been divorced, they don't usually end up with you being best buds with your ex. They really don't. They really don't. This story was published by a right-wing tabloid, a Trump-supporting tabloid called Daily Caller. They really thought they did something here. They really did. They really thought they did something here. They didn't. They did not at all. All they have done is they have highlighted exactly what a great blended family the Emhoffs have grown into. His ex-wife said this. I mean, if your ex-wife is making statements like this, you're doing something right. Okay. In a statement provided to the Daily Beast, Kirsten Emhoff provided support to her ex-husband. Doug and I decided to end our marriage for a variety of reasons many years ago. He is a great father to our kids, continues to be a great friend to me, and I am really proud of the warm and supportive blended family Doug, Kamala, and I have built together. She also goes and she tells a story in other publications. Daily Beast didn't print it, where she talks about early on when Doug and Kamala had first started dating. And it's one of those things where you just don't bring somebody new around the kids. You've got to meet the ex, and you've got to make sure everybody's okay and everything. You know what I mean? And they were at an Italian restaurant, and Kirsten Emhoff said she just about spit her food out because Kamala was telling her about how they were going to take a trip. They were planning on going to Italy. And Doug had planned the whole trip. I mean, the hotels, everything, entertainment, everything. She said, I about spit my food out. She says, that is not Doug at all. Doug has things done for him. The fact that he is morphing into this person, she tells that story, and then she goes on to tell about the ways he has, the effect Kamala Harris has had on him. And this ends up being, Barbara, I appreciate the support. I really do. I can't thank you enough. You allow me to do this full time. I am very grateful. She says, compared to Trump's multiple affairs, sexualizing his daughter and hanging out with a pedophile. Yeah, we're getting to that. We're getting to that. But Kirsten tells this story a lot, and she's telling it as part of a, Kamala Harris has been a really great influence on Doug. He has grown to be a wonderful guy. He is my friend now. We went from being mad enough to get divorced at each other to a friend. And we are, yeah, exactly. They've become a partnership in raising their children, and Kamala Harris participates in that. It's just, this was going to be a gotcha, and it has turned out to be great for Doug Emhoff and Kamala Harris, because it just highlights what a great freaking family they are. So what does the right wing do? They attacked Kirsten Emhoff. Well, she's just saying this stuff because she wants her child support, and she's paid by Doug Emhoff. Oh no. You stepped in it with that one. You really stepped in it with that one. Talk about pissing the ladies off. Let me tell you, this is Kirsten Emhoff. I just want you to know a little bit about Kirsten Emhoff. This is Kirsten Emhoff. She is a boss. She is nobody's fainting daisy. Let me tell you, she is something else, man. She is the founder. I had to write it all down. She's the founder and CEO of Pretty Bird Productions. She works in the film industry. She founded and runs a production company, a successful production company. They've won awards at Cannes. They've run Grammys. They've won Emmys. She is really freaking good at what she does. She has nobody that takes care of her. I promise you that. She is a badass. Their production company also, of course, does ad work. Ad Age is one of the publications that's within the ad agency. It's one of the industry publications. It's one of the most respected. They give an award out every year to production companies, the production company of the year. This is Ad Age, by the way. This is Ad Age. It is, kind of like the Bloomberg for the advertising advertising industry. They're a big deal. They are a big deal. They have named Kirsten Emhoff's production company, Pretty Bird, the production company of the year, not once, but twice, 2015 and 2021. She is a boss. She's a badass. And Republicans are like, oh, she's just saying that shit because she needs Doug Emhoff to. No. No. You couldn't be farther from the truth. No. One, that's insulting as hell. And two, no. But like Billy Mays, the guy from OxyClean said, Laura Yates, I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you. He and Kamala look happy together. Yeah, they do. They really do. They are genuinely happy people. And Doug Emhoff is a genuinely nice guy. He really is. He has really learned to enjoy his life and be successful. He left, give you an idea, he left his partnership to support his wife when she ran for VP, and now he teaches at Georgetown. He helps young people grow into great attorneys. That's what he does. I mean, he's just genuinely a nice guy. He really is. But let me finish telling you. I want to finish telling you about Kirsten Emhoff, because I have to tell you, when I saw the attacks on her, I didn't know much about her. I really didn't. And I wanted to learn about her. I'm like, why are they attacking this woman? And couldn't have been more wrong. This is also, she's the CEO of Ventureland Studios. This is Ventureland Studios. This is a big freaking deal, folks, man. They are a big freaking deal. This is Ventureland. She's the CEO of Ventureland Studios. They've done several highly notable documentaries, including Beckham, The Deepest Breath, the Wham documentary, Bobby Wine, The People's President. You probably heard some of these. They did quite a bit of ad work for several companies, including Expedia. Searching for Soul Food. That is on Hulu. I'm frugal. I am just frugal. I had too many subscriptions and we don't have Hulu anymore. So I've only seen one episode of this and it was freaking fantastic. It reminded me of Andy Bourdain's show. It is celebrity chef Alyssa Reynolds, and she just travels the world finding different cultures' soul food. And it was really good. I really want to see the rest of this. But yeah, this is out of Kirsten Emhoff's studio, not her production company, her studio, her other company. Boris Becker documentary, If These Walls Could Sing. If you're a Beatles fan like me, you know what Abbey Road Studio is. It's a documentary. It was done by Mary McCartney. They're the studio that put it all together. If you're a Beatles fan, it's really got to be a must watch for you. It's the history of the Abbey Road Theater, the FIFA scandal, all the payola going on in the professional soccer world. That didn't play so much here as it did. Ventureland is a hybrid American-British film studio. This was huge in Europe. And The Rescue, that was on Nat Geo. That was big. Do you remember the Thai students and the coach that went spelunking into the cave, and then the water rose and they got pinned into the cave, and it took them like 12 days. And I mean, they had to move heaven and earth, right? That is her studio did the documentary on that rescue. Thank you for the support, man. I appreciate you, brother. It lets me do this full time. I appreciate you. Lets me do this for a job, and I can't be more grateful. I just want to say thank you every freaking time, man. I mean, that was, I don't know about you, but I was glued to the news every day while that story was playing out. I really was. But yeah, you get the idea, right? I mean, she is a boss. And for the Republicans to come out and insinuate that the only reason she's talking nice about Doug Emhoff is because, he needs, she needs his support. Bullshit. She doesn't need anything from anybody. I can't think of anything more insulting. She is bad. She is a badass. She really is. Appreciate you, Charles. I appreciate the support, man. I really do. I bet that was freaking awesome. I bet David Barnett says he had a beer with Paul McCartney in a bar in New York City. I bet that was freaking awesome. I bet that was awesome. But yeah, where I'm going with this is they thought they had a gotcha. That wasn't a new gotcha. He told Kamala Harris about all this before they started, when they were dating, before they had a serious relationship. She knew all this. They actually disclosed it in the vetting process to the White House because there can be no surprises. So this is something that people knew, but they really think that they were going to have, some sort of gotcha moment. And so all they did was just really create the opportunity to show this is Cole and Ella, Doug Emhoff's kids, and Kamala Harris there. Show that they are an amazing blended family that is doing everything a family is supposed to do. That's all they did. That's all they did. And Richard Painter, I don't know if y'all are familiar with, I'm sure you are. Y'all are so damn well informed. I'm sure you know exactly who Richard Payne is. He's an ethics attorney. Had a perfect response to it, and I loved it. I was researching this, and I came across his post on X, and he says his response is, and this is an ethics attorney. He says, "Who cares? Is he running for president? Did he pay someone off to keep quiet and then lie about it on his campaign finance filings? Wonder who did that. Did he start an insurrection? Did he steal classified documents? I would add to that, did he appear on Epstein's call and flight logs? You know, the convicted pedophile rapist, Jeffrey Epstein? No, he did not. No, he did not. None of those things. None of those things. And all it does is really juxtapose the quality of people we're dealing with here, the actual qualifications, the actual careers, the actual backgrounds, the actual family relationships, all of it. It is just, yeah, do it. People are like, oh, what are you talking about this, man? You're not, what are you changing sides? No, man, I'm not scared of any of this. Every one of their attacks ends up highlighting, okay, well, let's hold them up and let's look at the difference. Let's look at the difference between the two. I'm really okay with that. You know, we're winning. We're winning. Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. I do. I really do. I appreciate you, Joseph. Part of our European audience, I'm grateful to you, my friend. Yeah, I just don't. I don't need to recoil from any of this. When you've got a good candidate with good people, you don't have to shrink from stuff like this. You don't have to, come on. Show me what you got. Let's see your attack. And believe me, the attacks are getting ridiculous. And the Trump campaign is just flailing. We're going to get into that a little bit more here in just a little bit. But yeah, the Trump campaign is just flailing, but the attacks are just getting so stupid. Just so, here's JD Vance the other day at the Atlanta rally. It's freaking hilarious, man. It is hilarious.
Harris wants to ban fracking, ban offshore drilling, take away your gas cars. And by the way, I think in America, you ought to be able to drive whatever the hell you want to, because this is America and we believe in freedom.
Do y'all mind if I go through these as he does this? No, she's never tried to ban fracking. Regulate it, yeah. Said that we need more regulation on it because we're finding that, yeah, some people's water supplies are getting polluted. It's causing earthquakes in some areas, that we really need to regulate this. You know, regulation, that's a good thing. Is regulation banning? No. But if you're a Republican, what do? You just lie. You just lie. Tell you what kind of car you have to drive? Has the federal government told anyone what kind of car they have to buy? Ever? I mean, somebody correct me. What is he talking about here? I mean, because that was literally pulled out of his anus. None of it is true. None of it is true. I'll back it up here so we can see what.
Harris wants to ban fracking, ban offshore drilling, take away your gas cars. And by the way, I think in America, you ought to be able to drive whatever the hell you want to, because this is America and we believe in freedom.
It's just as stupid as shit right there. How can you cheer something that stupid? I mean, do you not realize that is a freedom you already have? He's promising you something you already have. I swear to God, we're going to find out there's something akin to lead poisoning. There's some reason people are this stupid.
She wants to take away your gas stoves. She even wants to take away your ability to eat.
The stoves again. The stoves. The stoves. If you don't remember, if you're new to the show, we did a whole thing on this. The Republicans went around, they're taking our stoves. They want to take your stoves away. No, this came from a warning. The government did its job. I'll give you an example. Jerry, I appreciate you, man. This is thanks for helping me survive as a blue dot in a sea of red in central Idaho, man. Hang in there, brother. There are more people there than you than you realize. But the stoves thing, just a reminder for new folks in the audience, the stoves thing, the federal government did its job. Like when I built this house, I spray foamed it. I live in an upside down beer cooler, super efficient, super quiet, super efficient. The problem when you do that, they just don't breathe well. I don't know if you remember your parents' house or your grandparents' house, but you could feel when the wind blew real hard. Dust would build up in the house. During a really dusty day down here in Texas. New houses aren't like that. New houses don't breathe. They wrap them in, they spray foam them, they wrap them in plastic. My house, I have to pump air into my house to make it healthy. I've got literally an air intake on the roof where I bring fresh air into my house. So the federal government said, guys, when you're building these ultra efficient houses, God, I love how informed you people are. I really do. Yeah, we wrap them in Tyvek. We do all kinds of things. I love how informed you people are. The federal government came out and said, hey, folks, in these really super efficient houses, anything that's like an open flame is not a good idea. Because you're not really exchanging air as much as you used to, and you can build up a lot of carbon dioxide really quick. So yeah, if you're picking appliances, think about going electric. That's what the government did. That's a good thing, right? They did their job. This is what you want the government to do, right? I mean, you go out to a neighborhood and buy a new house. You want somebody to tell you, hey, by the way, that house doesn't breathe very well. You might need to go electric with your appliances. Be a little bit healthier. The right wing turned that to the government is coming to take your stove away. They lied. Stupid bullshit. Again. Mark Wagner, appreciate the support, man. I really do. There is no way that Trump can dump Vance either because he can't admit that he made a mistake. Amen, brother. Amen. And actually, the deadline's passed now. I think it was yesterday, the day before they could make any changes on the ticket in most states. He's screwed. He's stuck with Vance. Brian Peaches said, good morning, all. Not going back. President Harris will save our democracy for the world. I appreciate the support, my man. I appreciate you, Brian. I really do. But yeah, that's where that nonsense comes from you folks that are just newer to the show. But let's finish up what he has to say here.
To eat red meat. That's how out there she is. That's how out there she is.
Hold on. This is a big one.
She wants to take away your gas stoves. She even wants to take away your ability to eat red meat. That's how out there she is. That's real. The fake news will fact check it. They'll fact check it true. She actually said that.
He knew he was going to get fact checked on that because it is bullshit. Bullshit. Here is Kamala Harris flipping pork burgers in Iowa. And yes, they did fact check it immediately. And it was a lie. It was a lie. It doesn't stop them from repeating it over and over and over again, like the stoves things, because it's all they have. They have no policies. None whatsoever. They have no policies they can talk about. So they've got to say things like Kamala Harris wants to take your red meat away. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. But let me tell you what the federal government is trying to do. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. You know, I meant to bring an image of this up. Give me 1 second. Methane from animal production is a thing. Scientists will tell you the amount of methane produced in beef outfits and pork outfits is insane. It is crazy. And they have to do something about it. They really have to do something about it. And they've been regulating, especially the pork industry, because the waste ponds will develop these massive bubbles. Here's one that's not as gross as the image I was hoping to find, because there are some really gross ones. This is post-regulation, where they're making them actually do stuff about it. But these waste ponds, like in major corporate pork farms, these waste ponds would develop like a thick scum, like 1 inch thick scum on top of it that would solidify. And then the waste byproducts, the bacteria in the waste byproducts would balloon it up and fill it with methane. Methane is one of the worst greenhouse gases there is. So yeah, the federal government actually is working. You see, this one is actually covered, and now they have to pump the methane out. You know, regulation. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Another thing that they identified as a major source of methane, and they love to say it like this. Also, I don't shy away from it. Cow farts. They love to say, oh, the liberals are worried about cow farts. Yeah. Turns out it's a huge producer of methane. And you know what they figured out? Seaweed fixes that. No kidding. They came up with a supplement from seaweed that cuts methane production by like 80% in cows if they use it as a feed supplement. Yeah. That's what the federal government is doing. That's a good thing, right? Is that anything akin or close to they're going to take your cows away, which is one of the things that Trump keeps saying, and JD Vance, they want to take your red meat away? No, they're working. They're doing the job. This is something else in refineries. You see you still see it because they're still working on the regulation. The big flare off of methane, the big flame that you see flying out of the top of the stacks at refineries. They're working on capturing all of that and using it for electricity production instead of just letting it go off into the atmosphere as greenhouse gas. You know, that's a good thing, folks. That's a good thing. And you know what? They're not even talking about burdening beef outfits with an additional feed cost. They're talking about subsidizing feed manufacturers because it benefits us all, right? Why shouldn't we all share the bill? It benefits us all to add the seaweed supplements to cow feed, right? Everybody that raises cow feeds a supplement. We call them cubes. Colloquially, they're known as cubes, but they're usually round shaped like your finger, about that big around. And they're a little bit sweet, and cows love them. And they come in 16% protein, 18% protein, up to 22, 24%, depending on how much you need, how much protein they're getting out of the ground and the hay that they're eating. You supplement. Well, the government's talking about subsidizing the supplement industry to put these seaweed supplements into cubes to reduce the amount of methane cows produce. Freaking smart. Yeah. More of that, please. But instead, what do you have? Republicans who don't have a policy, who don't have any answer. that do nothing about greenhouse gases, that do nothing about the environment. All they want to do is lie to people and tell people stupid shit like they're going to take your stoves. They want to take your red meat away. This is all they've got. They're completely fake. Completely fake. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. I try to make it interesting. I try to make it, and thank you for the support, man. $50 is a lot of money, dude. That is a lot of money, and I'm very grateful for that kind of support. I am. And speaking of fake, this went viral. The Trump campaign is they're in bad shape. This went viral. It was Black women supporting Trump. These are some beautiful women here, aren't they? I mean, yeah, look at that. Nice looking. That would be a great photo op if it were real. You remember the image I came up with for you of Sarah, the AI person, the fake woman that they were going to come up with? You remember that? This is all AI. None of these people are real. It's like the accounts that these white Republican politicians keep coming up with, where they say, I am a Black woman and I support Trump, but they forget to change over to their burner account where they pretend to be a Black woman and it's a white guy from like Arizona. They just had another one. I showed you one, the guy from Jersey that did it the other day in the show. They just had another one from Arizona. I'll put it in the future. So, freaking hilarious. I'm a strong Black woman and I'm supporting Trump. Oh, really? Because your profile says you're a white politician from Arizona. Oh my God, that's just hilarious. But look, I want to zoom in on this for you, and I want you to see just how bad this is. This went viral. The righties went nuts for this. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to win. Black people support Trump. First of all, let's look at Trump. Let's look at Trump. Okay. Look at that eye. AI didn't do very good on look at that eye. I mean, yeah, they didn't even get Trump right, much less the rest of it. This hand here belongs to who? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who this belongs to. There's just like an extra arm and hand. Look at these. What are these, like demon people? Look at these fingers. Oh my God. Oh my God, that reminds me, what is that movie with Keanu Reeves where the people kept turning into their faces and stuff would turn into, this is really, look at Trump's hand. Look at this. It's like, AI really screwed the pooch on this one. Oh, she's got an extra thumb. She just got an extra thumb. She got an extra finger. I mean, I hope this is coming clear for you. I mean, for the folks on the phone, you're just going to have to like blow it up and watch it. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. They're like no toes. I mean, it's freaking hilarious, man. It is freaking hilarious. It's all AI. It's all fake. It's all fake because they have nothing. They have nothing. And, Trump's been busted. You've seen this before. You've seen this before. Trump, and his waving. I got several of these. Trump waving to people that don't exist.
See you later.
Let's just wave at people that aren't there.
See you later.
And then he got busted at the NASCAR race because his handler was such an idiot. He shot it at the wrong angle and they released it anyways. The crowd was cheering for the race in the background. So Trump stops and waves to pretend like they're cheering at him, but his handler is a freaking moron. That shoots it from the wrong angle. I mean, that's pathetic. That is pathetic. And they know they got busted on this. They know that it's been called out over and over and over and over again, but they keep doing it because, yeah, exactly. Their cult, great comment, his cult believes it. His cult believes it. They do. Great comment. Here's another one. Getting off a plane in Wisconsin to wave at the crowd that's not there. Who the hell are you waving to? There's nobody there. And then this one just came out. This is the newest one. This is freaking hilarious, man. It's like, didn't you learn from the NASCAR thing? This is his own people. I mean, no, we're not doing this to him. This is his own people. They thought this was a good idea. I want you to look at the Secret Service and stuff in the background. Nobody's looking at him. Look at the fist bump. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's freaking hilarious, man. That is freaking hilarious. Just delusional. Just delusional. I mean, the man is 80 years old. He's got pudding for brains. He is freaking delusional. And they're so bad at this. And it's just getting worse and worse for the campaign. And Donald is becoming more and more unhinged. He's attacking popular people within his own party because they don't support him. Now look, I'm the first to call somebody out that does something completely gratuitous, that if you attack a popular politician within the Democratic Party and you just do it for your own gain, like I had no problem with people telling Bob Menendez, you got to step down. Hell yeah. We clean up our own backyard. We call that shit out. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you. Oh, hey, I want to pause for a second. E.T. couldn't be here. He had to work. I saw the comments before the show. He was here before the show. He had to go to work. He couldn't be here. So I'm going to give you his daily affirmation and warning. We are under you. Most states, you have to be registered 30 days before the election. We are 94 days out, I think, from the election today. That means you have 64 days total to get your registration in place. And do not use some shifty online, I will register it for you website. Do it right. Go to your registrar's office, get registered. And do not wait till the last minute. Because if there's something that's got to be updated, you got to get a new ID or something like that. You don't want to be rushing to try to get this done last day. Get it done in the next couple weeks. Get registered, folks. Anyways, but back to what we were talking about. Trump is attacking members of his own party that are popular. And like I said, I've got no problem with calling somebody out in your party that has done something wrong. But just because they don't agree with you or they don't oppose you, no, that is like some Night of the Long Knives Nazi party shit. Here you got him on his failing web platform, Truth Social. We have to purge the party of people that go against our candidates and make it harder for popular Republican president to beat the radical left lunatics. Jeff Duncan, he was the governor in Georgia, a loser who's disintegrating on his own. Congratulations to Josh McCoon for purging our party of misfits and people that don't want us to succeed. If you don't know, Jeff Duncan is a lifelong Republican. He is a conservative, and he is a never Trumper. And so is Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia. He would not go along with the coup. Trump called him and asked him to cheat, and he would not do it. He just, much to his credit, he wouldn't do it. But here's Trump having a meltdown over Brian Kemp. This is how, it's really going freaking good for you when you're less than 100 days out. I'll be the first to tell you, 6 months in a political campaign is a lifetime. When you're under 100 days and you're doing stupid shit like this, thank God it's the Republicans. Just thank God it's the Republicans. But yeah, here's Trump going after the very popular Brian Kemp from Georgia
But
in
Kemp
Atlanta.
doesn't want to end it because he's a bad guy, he's a disloyal guy, and he's a very average governor. Little Brian Kemp, bad guy. But think of it. I got this guy, just think, and then that's it. I got this.
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt this. Little guy, Brian Kemp's like, what, 6'4"?
Guy nominated, I then got him elected. Without me, he doesn't get nominated and he doesn't get elected. He had no chance of winning either one, and all he had to do is sign something where the Senate would like to look at election integrity. This is an honest man. That's an honest man. They were all honest. They were looking at something very legitimate. And this bad guy said, "I'm sorry, sir. I can't do it." I called him and I said, "Brian, they're looking at election integrity. Is there anything you can do?" "I'm sorry, sir. I can't get involved in that." I said, "But Brian, you don't understand. This is a good thing, not a bad thing." "I'm sorry, sir. I can't get involved." I've had you up to here, Brian. I've had you up to here. He's a bad guy, and he's not doing this country a good service. People are looking.
Okay. I hope the DOJ is paying attention, because he just confessed that he's tried to call Brian Kemp and get him to sign off on phony electors. But hey, Republicans in Georgia are posting to their social media sites, Instagram, X, etc. Trump just lost Georgia. Yeah. Brian Kemp came out and took the high road on it, and he said these attacks are both personal and ridiculous. And most Republicans, like I said, are just lost. They're useless. The Republican Party's got to go. Most are. But there is that sliver in the Republican Party are people that I just don't agree with. I don't agree with their policy. I don't agree with the way they do things, but they're maintaining their integrity. Brian Kemp would not participate in the coup. Lori Yates, appreciate the support. Do I think he's going to change vice presidents? He can't. He can't. He ran out of time. He can't, even if he wanted to. But no, I don't think he would have anyways, because I don't think his pride would have let him admit he was wrong. Debbie Bauer says, I keep telling folks Trump doesn't care about Vance driving votes away, doesn't care about his criminal records, doesn't care about not having any policies, because he has no intention of accepting the election results. Amen. And I agree with you. And where I'm going with this is I don't think he thinks he's going to win. I really don't. I think this is a mega grift on their part. And it's a great segue. Thank you for the comment and thank you for the support. I really do. I appreciate you letting me do this as a full-time job. Yeah, this is what Trump's doing. Trump team gambles on new ground game, capitalizing on loosened rules. That's inaccurate and supporting the Trump campaign. They're not capitalizing on loosened rules. They're pushing the edge of the envelope. They're testing the rules is what they're doing. But what they're doing is, instead of, you've heard me talk about the advantage the Democrats had in the ground game. They have professionals in offices working to get out the vote, to really get things done. The Democrats have real infrastructure. The Trump campaign has done none of that. None of that. And it leads me to believe that this is all a grift. They put Laura Trump in at the RNC. They're not spending money down ballot. They're not spending money for infrastructure, but they are funneling money to outside groups. Greg Edmonds says Trump knows he's finished, like Adolf Hitler by 1945, who burned Germany to the ground for failing him. Donald is burning down the Republican Party. I think he's cashing out. I really think that. New Kid, thank you for the support, man. I really appreciate you. But hey, Chutkin is on the move again. Yes, that is fantastic. If y'all haven't heard, the Trump's case got kicked back to Chutkin, and it is back on, baby. It is back on. Yeah, it not been a good week for Trump. But look, this is, instead of having real offices and real infrastructure, they're relying on outside groups to do the get out the vote effort. And it's crazy. They've got groups like this. The America First Works. The first thing that's going to jump out at you here is Tim Dunn. I talk about him all the time. He's from down here in Texas. He is the pastor that fancies himself a global leader that wants to bring us all to Jesus. And he's the one that's trying to turn my state into a theocracy. He's turning, he's responsible for all the school voucher crap that Republicans push down here. He funds Republicans to the teeth, so Republicans don't actually have to do shit because they just get massive funding from their billionaire sugar daddies like Tim Dunn, Ferris Wilks, and whatnot. He is the chairman of America First Works. Ashley Hayek and Brooke Rollins are both strategists, longtime Republican strategists. They're responsible for the crazy shit you hear. They're going to take our gas stoves. No policies, nothing that actually, is anything that actually works for the American people. But just think about all the nutty bullshit you've heard. These two ladies are responsible for that. Then you've got Linda McMahon. Yeah, that Linda McMahon, the wife of Vince McMahon. They're the WWE people, the World Wrestling nonsense people. Trump made her head of the Small Business Administration. Talk about a joke. Made the wife of Vince McMahon the head of the Small Business Administration. Talk about pissing on people. Talk about pissing on people and not giving a shit about what our government is supposed to be doing. You put Linda frickin' McMahon in as the head of the Small Business Administration. I mean, give me a break. And I mean, loyalty over experience, I get that, but it doesn't really cover it. Linda Blanton says Biden donated to his campaign money in 2020 to Dem Party. He was the first one to ever do that. Biden laid the groundwork for party with. I'm not exactly covering what you're saying here, Linda. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to interfere with that. Alto Eager says spending money on state level election deniers. It's crazy. It's freaking insane. And we're going to go through a couple of these. Trump can't keep from telling on himself. True, Gregory. Amen. Operation Let Him Talk has been perfect. Perfect. But yeah, these people are a freaking joke. I think it's all a grift. I think it really is. They know they're going to lose. And I think they're just cashing out because these people are not going to be able to put together a real ground game. And then you've got America PAC, which is another one of the organizations they're relying on. That is, I don't know if you've been following that, but that is Elon Musk's latest debacle. He's the money behind that. And they're running fake voter registration scams. That's why I tell you, don't fall for any online BS. Just do it the old-fashioned way and get registered to vote. These folks, if you live in an area that's not competitive, like California or, California's going blue. It is. It's going blue. So if you go to his website and try to register on it, well, it just kicks you to the California state site. But if you're in a real battleground state, like say Pennsylvania, it takes all your information, critical information, your address and your phone number and all your bio information. It has you fill all that shit out and then kicks you to a page that says, thank you, but you're not registered to vote. It's not registering people to vote. It's data mining information. And I don't know, to me, that's illegal. I mean, we've had people really get prosecuted for not doing their job when they're telling people, hey, we'll register you to vote. And then they don't get people registered to vote. I really think the DOJ needs to look at this. Do I think maggots will try to start a civil war? No, not at all. They're long on talk. Then they're full of shit. But the last group that they're relying on is, I like to call them the Hitler Youth. We've talked about them before. Turning Point USA has a PAC, Turning Point Action, where they take your kids, and I warn you over and over again, if your kid is in college, they're exposed to these people. Many high schools across the country have a Turning Point USA chapter in them, and they recruit kids to go out, and they're supposed to be a ground game. Folks, these are not professionals. I mean, I'm glad to hear this, but it's just, I don't know. I'm reading this and I'm thinking, man, they're running away with the money is what it sounds like to me. I mean, I don't know. I need more information on this. This really looks like it's an open grift. Ginger says Trump is counting on, hold on, I didn't get to read that one. Trump is counting on victory in the Supreme Court. Yeah, folks, now that you mention it, let's talk about it. Yeah. And Katchen says, be careful with any website that isn't your own Secretary of State. Even vote.org is getting things wrong. Yeah, please, pretty please. Check with your local registrars. Don't use your state Secretary of State websites to find information and to get registered. Do it the old-fashioned way. Gray Hair Discovery says, yeah, they're full of something. All right. I just hope we don't step in it. I hear you. I really appreciate the support, guys. I really do. But yeah, folks, and I'm looking at this. If you've never been a part of a campaign or worked in a campaign or volunteered for a campaign, there's a whole party structure that goes out into these offices, and they find people that are really experienced, that have been doing this for a long time and know how to do it. They know how to arrange the block walks. They know how to knock on doors and stuff like that. It just seems to me like they're just not spending on the infrastructure, and the people that regret, like Turning Point USA, I've always considered that to be like I said, I nicknamed them the Hitler Youth. To me, they've always been kind of a scam to me. They really have. They just tell people stuff that's not true and then take their money. And I don't know, man. That's the feeling I'm getting from it. Debate Chicken, his posts aren't truths, they're clucks. That's a good one. That's a good one, my friend. That is a good one. Wondering why on your Threads account you posted an image suggesting Trump wasn't shot in the ear 6 days ago. Well, let me tell you, when that story first broke, I put it up as a story that was breaking. And after I put it up, I did about 10 seconds worth of research and I deleted it. But now you're banned from the channel. Thank you. Kelly D, thank you for the support. I appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, it's just insane. And it's just getting worse. Trump went to Atlanta, the same Georgia State stadium that Kamala Harris, you saw, I mean, just massive, filled, every seat all the way to the ceiling. Trump holds a rally there to try to show that, what a big guy he is. And it's a disaster. There are empty seats freaking everywhere. And he starts to cry ass during his speech about he's being picked on. He's a victim again. As they pan around, you can see there's empty seats all over the freaking place. He never even came close to filling the same exact arena that Kamala Harris had filled to the gills. But listen to Donald Trump whining about this.
And I have to tell you, we have thousands of people outside, and the state was terrific, but the fire marshal, I will say, could not have been better. Thank you to the fire marshal. But the school administration stopped us from getting another 500, 600, even 1,000 people in.
No, they didn't. There was nobody to get in.
Thousands of people were told no, and that was okay, but we could have fit another 600 people. So I don't know anything about the school.
There's empty seats all over that stadium, and 4 days earlier, Kamala Harris filled it to the gills.
They could have allowed more people. You got people standing outside. Look at all the people.
No, they aren't.
And I have to tell
you. Sorry. We can believe our own eyes. I mean, they very much did that tight shot thing again. I've shown you comparisons where they do the tight shot. They push people in to the area behind where the camera's going to be. They usher people in literally to fill that section. And then if you get cell phone footage of people, they'll pan around and they'll look. And the area that's not in the shot is empty as hell. I mean, exactly. What a fraud. What a fraud. Waves to crowds that don't exist. Then when he gets embarrassed because he can't fill the same stadiums that Kamala Harris fills, he whines like a little, the fire marshal did it to me. The fire marshal did it to me. And, this guy, I mean, this is so typical. He's got everybody and everything in the entire Republican establishment. You remember that clip I just played you of him attacking Brian Kemp? Look at how Fox News protects him. I mean, Fox News really legally should have to declare itself part of the Republican Party. I want you to, as soon as he starts attacking Brian Kemp, yep. As soon as he started attacking Brian Kemp, they protected him from himself. They cut away from the rally, cut the audio. As soon as Donald Trump started attacking Brian Kemp, the smarter people that aren't petty little jerks like Trump is, they cut away and preempted over it to protect him all the time. Jake Sellers, those paid people in Trump's crowd behind him were dockers in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's another one, man. That is another one. They keep finding people that are at these rallies that are hired off Craigslist. They pay the people $50 to come sit there and hold a sign. It was hilarious. Some of the images I couldn't put everything into the show. But there were some images of people at his Atlanta rally that were behind him that were falling asleep. The actors just were so bored to death. They were just falling asleep, dropping their signs. It's not real. None of it's real. They have no ground game. They're not running a real campaign. They have no policies. And the policies they do have are freaking terrifying. It's Christian nationalism and fascism. And folks, if you wonder why, you keep asking me, how can they have people supporting them? How can people still believe this? How can, Ginger McIntosh, he's counting on SCOTUS 2000 all over again. He is. And you have to make sure the vote isn't close enough. Just because we pulled into the lead and Kamala Harris is leading in the polls, you cannot take your foot off the gas. You have to register. You have to get at it. You have to fight. You have to make sure that we win by such margins they can't cheat. Look at Venezuela right now. There's fighting going on in the streets right now in Venezuela because Maduro lost so badly that nobody is accepting his claim to victory, except for Fox News. Fox News immediately said Maduro wins. No one else. All of his neighbors, the president of Panama, Brazil, everybody, is supporting Gonzalez, saying that Gonzalez is the victor. We're going to move forward with the Gonzalez government. The United States government has recognized Gonzalez as the new president of Venezuela, and they are fighting it out in the streets as we speak because enough people showed up that there was no question. There was just no question. And we have to do that here. We do. And this is why. I want to introduce you to Dustin Carmack. This is Dustin Carmack. Dustin Carmack, as you see here, used to work for the Heritage Foundation. He wrote one of the chapters in the 2025 project. He was also part of the DeSantis campaign. He is a radical nut job. He was appointed to a position he should have never been in the first place. He was the chief of staff for the director of national intelligence. Thank you, Lori Yates. Absolutely. Enough is enough. He was appointed chief of staff for Richard Grenell. If you remember Richard Grenell, he is the disgraced DNI from 2020 to 2021, Trump's DNI, a director of national intelligence that, he ended up finding out that he was working for foreign governments and the people that were paying him were absolute corrupt mobsters. This guy's chief of staff, who never should have been in the job himself, is now one of the heads of public policy at Meta. Let that sink in. He's the head of public policy at Meta. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Threads. This guy is literally an author for the 2025 project, and he is now a director of foreign policy at Meta. Yeah, Meta. And people are like, wow, every post I post, it says weird in it when I'm talking about, the whole movement that we've had about calling out the weirdness of Republicans. Well, they're complaining my posts are being suppressed. I wonder why. I'm going to assume that some people are asking what Meta is. Meta is the parent company of Facebook. They are, when Facebook became a massive billionaire, billion-dollar corporation, they established a parent company, which is Meta. And Meta owns Facebook. Meta owns Instagram. Meta owns Threads. Meta owns WhatsApp. All of these. And they're all managed by Meta. And now one of their heads of foreign public policy is literally an author of the 2025 project. A Trump administration official, worked in the DeSantis campaign, a nutter, and now he's working at Meta. Folks, I am telling you, we have to stay focused. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Nobody has shown up to get your frickin' stove. Nobody's ever going to show up to get your frickin' stove. Nobody's trying to take your steak away. None of that. You know what's right and wrong. You just can't trust. You sure as hell can't trust the corporate media. And now these people are infiltrating all the social media platforms. We have got to keep fighting. You cannot take your foot off the gas. Yes, Kamala Harris has moved ahead in the polls decisively. She has. That's a great thing. Yes, Kamala Harris has real infrastructure. It looks like she is going to plow Trump under in this next election. But that doesn't mean you can take a breather and not participate. Not at all. We've got under 100 days left. That's it. That's it. And we're done. This next election, we can change the world, literally. Yeah, I hear you, Cloud Dancer. Who's going to pay to have all these MAGA cult clowns deprogrammed? We're going to be living with the damage that has been done to these people for decades. Our kids will be fixing this problem. This is not free. This misinformation crap is not free. It is not. You're going to have damaged people that have been, you see them, mid-30s, beard, 2A bro that's all about his AR-15, even though he's never in his life needed a weapon for anything or seen a violent act. He's got to be armed with, weapons of war to the teeth just to survive. The guy that goes out to buy the pickup truck as a status symbol. You can't tell me I can't have a pickup truck. Well, why do you have a pickup truck? I mean, I know I have a pickup truck. I'm rural. I live out in the country. I haul shit. But my pickup truck has very few miles on it because all it does is work. That's it. I'm not an idiot. It gets shitty gas mileage. If I got to drive around, I'm driving in an efficient car. I'm telling you, I love Hondas. I do. But these people, they do these things out of cult status stupidity. Thanks for the support, Linda. I really appreciate you. Jake, I appreciate you. I feel like we're being taken over by the Russians through social media platforms. I am telling you, you are not far off. They figured out a long time ago that they were going to use our freedoms against us. And we have got to be active. We've got to be prepared for it. Well, look, folks, that's what I've got for you today. I wanted to do a roundtable at the end of it to talk about Veep stakes because today, big news, the last of what I wanted to share with you. This is the day. Kamala Harris is having her last meetings with each of the leading candidates today. So we should know something probably tomorrow, Tuesday at the latest, would be my guess. We'll see on our Wednesday show if I'm right. But yeah, big freaking deal. High stakes meetings going on today. I wanted to have a roundtable to have one more discussion about the Veep stakes, but man, we're way over on time. And I'll be honest with you, my fever's coming back. I got to call it a day. I love you folks. This is Old Texas Paul out. Yes, spread the word, check your registration, and enjoy some Texas cities at night. Thanks for the support, Pete. I really appreciate you. You allow me to do this as a freaking full-time job. Thank you.